most Canadians are aware of this deal. And overall support versus opposition is triple the number. So support is 61% who are strongly supportive or somewhat supportive of the idea, and only 23% opposed. Now, this comes straight on the heels of a poll last year where we had about 45% of Canadians who felt like China was an enemy country. So the Canadians have changed their views radically in the past 12 months on just how we view our relationship with China, and this is just one example of that. The agreement and the favorability of this trade deal does not come without its concerns. There's only 20% who say, I'm not worried about anything. And you're right, at the top of the list, vehicle quality and durability, because they hear story after story in the media of how these vehicles they're being produced at, sometimes half or even less the price of comparable Teslas or other EVs in the marketplace. So there are questions to see if that is going to hold up from Canadian consumer standpoint. And we're not without concerns on the impact on the Canadian auto industry. That's been a major barrier in the past, and that's equal in the eyes of Canadians. About 38% say that they are going to watch the impact and see how that unplays. And then there's also data security and privacy. We've been conditioned as Canadians about worries about TikTok and social media and surveillance and Canadian interference with elections from Chinese or Russian counterparts, and so Canadians do have that in the back of their mind as a significant worry, and that will play out as it plays out. And the one other thing in the poll that I found was interesting is people are not very concerned about Donald Trump's threat to impose new tariffs on Canadian goods, and we've seen some reaction to that, the taco label that has been floated out there with Trump on that regard. 30% are just simply not concerned. They don't believe it. They don't think there's going to be follow through. And that's a marked difference, again, comparatively speaking to the past, where, if you polled this 6 or 8 months ago, there would be something like 85 or 90% concerned about the tariffs that are imposed by Donald Trump. So, and in fact, it goes as far to say that Canadians think that there should be more trade and more interaction with China. 57% think that we should not limit our trade agreements with China in order to avoid economic retaliation from the USA and from Trump. And only 21% believe that we should be afraid of it. So a very marked difference in the reaction of Canadians and how we deal with Trump threats, and the belief that Canada should negotiate agreements with other countries that, again, historically have not been on the list of friendly in terms of working with Canadian trade relationships.